rock stars with the cool guitars. This is Late at the Library with John Cohn. And today we're going to be talking a little about who to avoid and who to avoid being in the library, as well as some different resources that the library has to offer for students for reading and research. So to start off, please help me welcome our first guest, Luke Sohaki. Luke, nice to have you on the show.
Hey, John, nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's get right down to it.
Sure.
We've been here at Delta when you have a paper to finish or you need to go study and want a quiet place to do that.
Sure.
So where do we go?
You want to go to the library. That'd be my first place, right?
Right. The library, of course. You get to the library, and it's not as quiet and peaceful as you'd hoped.
No, not exactly. You're going to have a few, different people that tend to kind of interrupt in the library, and I think that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right.
I don't know about you, but I've come to realize that there's about 5 different types of people you want to avoid at all costs when going to the library.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
You also want to avoid being one of those 5 people.
Yes.
However, number 1, the library DJ.
Yes, the library DJ. So he's going to be the guy, or she's going to be the girl, who's always going to be listening to the music very loudly on their iPod. I've heard Bluetooth speakers before that people have had that are quieter than some of the things, these tunes that they pump out. So people that are very loud and you can hear their music in like a 50-foot radius of where you're sitting.
Right.
And so it makes it hard when you want to study and you're looking to have some quiet time to be around that person, and especially because everybody doesn't like the same kind of music, So you don't want to be that person, and you certainly don't want to be by that person.
Now the second type of person is the buffet. The person who goes into the library, just works up this massive appetite with all the energy they exhaust by studying.
Yes, apparently burns a lot of calories studying. This is the person that, of course, is going to bring a lot of food into the library when you're trying to eat. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. We've all got to eat, but it tends to never be the quiet food, John. You bring it in there.
Right.
It's typically the bag of potato chips that's just crinkling away when they're eating. And, especially when you work there like I do, it's just something you kind of got to hear all day. So again, try not to be the what'd you call it again?
The buffet person.
The buffet, yes. So try not to be this person in the library, please. We'd appreciate that, yeah.
Or they have to eat their cheese balls and getting their grubby fingers over everything.
Even worse. Yes. We try, the keyboards. Everyone's using those all days. It's kind of like wiping equipment down after a gym. You don't want to leave your stuff all greasy and cheesy afterwards. So, we ask that you don't do that.
I hate running into cheesy gym equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, next we got the cell phone banshee. You know what I'm talking about. Luke.
Yes.
Pretty sure everyone has had an encounter with this type of person.
I agree, John. I think everyone's ran into the cell phone banshee at least once in their life, whether it's at a library or a movie theater, somewhere where you're supposed to be being quiet, right?
Right.
The same rule applies to this one. We got a lot of kids studying in there. A lot of these kids, students, are working very, very hard, and we try to keep the volume to a minimum. And when somebody's answering their phone in the library and making a lot of noise, and some people just don't care, and we don't like to see that. Most try to be polite, but some don't. So you don't want to be that person, right? So if your phone rings, I get it. I got one that rings all the time. Just if you'd step outside, we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think this next one is one that we've all been a part of at some point. Mm-hmm. The group project. Now, the library is a great place to work on a group project, and I totally recommend meeting there as a group. It's convenient, and ideally, it's quiet.
Yes, ideally it is quiet. Now, one of the great things about the library is they actually have a group project room. Mm-hmm. It's first come, first serve. As far as I know, it's always open or usually open. But like I said, it's first come, first serve, so you can come in there. And if you got a group project, it's a large room. It's got a lot of tables, chairs, room for everybody to sit and converse and talk about the group project together. And that's great. We prefer people go in there because, again, it keeps the noise level at a minimum that way. So. But yeah, even if that room is taken, or if you can't use it for some reason, if you have to work in the library, we're more than happy to have you. We just ask that you try to not be the noisy group. You always get the one that's kind of loud, little, they cause a little ruckus, and I get it. Everyone has good times to meet people, but we're trying to keep the noise at a minimum. So we ask that if you can't work in that room, just try to keep it down.
And finally, we got the lovebirds, the people who are sickeningly flirty in the library
Yes.
or just anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
The couple that goes everywhere and says, "You're cute," no, "You're cute." More accurately, "You're the best at algebra," no, "You're the best at algebra."
Yeah. The lovebirds, they drive me nuts places other than the library, John. I mean, but yeah, the lovebirds we do get occasionally in the library, and it's the same thing. It's just distracting, even if you're not necessarily making noise, you know, and everybody's touchy-feely and all that stuff, you know. I mean, to me, it's just weird. Like, look, you're in public, relax, you know. But anyways, we ask that you don't do that in the library because, again, it's just distracting. And we get more complaints than you would think about that.
Really?
Yeah, we really do. So we try to keep that to a minimum. Absolutely. Yeah. The lovebirds.
So, Luke, you work in the LLIC.
Correct. Yes.
What's the best place to go to avoid these people and get some good studying in?
The best places to go are going to be the quiet rooms, or the quiet study areas, I should say, the study areas, okay? And right when you walk into the library, you're going to start seeing signs for them. Just kind of look at the top, right where you see the audio-visual department, the LLIC, anything else. They're designated areas where obviously you're supposed to be quiet in.
Right.
You know, group projects would not go there. Somebody who's reading out of their book would. And so look for these areas. The farther back you go in the library, the more you're going to see. Okay, so the deeper you get in there, the quieter it is. And if you have trouble or you don't see the signs or anything, ask anybody in the library. Great group of people that work in there, young and everybody, younger and older people alike. They're all great.
And hip.
Yeah, and hip. Yeah. So if you have trouble, just ask somebody. We'll get you where you need to be.
All right, and I have to ask.
Yes.
You ever taken a nap in one of these quiet study areas?
No, not me personally, John. But I'm willing to bet somebody has. Yeah.
Well, as long as you don't snore.
That's right. Absolutely.
Well, Luke, it's been great having you on the show.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely, John. Thanks for having me.
Let's give our guest one last round of applause before he goes.
All right.
Have a great night.
Yes, sir. Thanks, John.
Now, our next guest is going to help tell us a little bit about the few awesome resources that the Delta College Library provides for its students. Please help me welcome once again the amazing Colleen Kochbauer.
Hi, John.
Colleen, it's great to have you again.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We're going to have a punch card for you. This is their second one, and third one you get a free smoothie. Huh?
That's great.
Now, as I understand, the library has a great database of information about Delta's history. What can you tell us about that?
Well, John, that's the Delta College Archives. And the Archives tells a story of Delta College's history. From before the ground was ever even broken for the college all the way to the present day. So there's generally two groups of people who are interested in using the archives. First, you might be a scholar or a student working on a report or a project about Delta College and you need information about Delta College. Or you might be someone who worked at Delta College for a long time or a student who used to come to Delta College, and you might have some materials about Delta College that you want saved for posterity, but you don't know how to do it, right? So if you're in either of these groups and you want to contact the archives, all you need to do is go on to the LLIC main page on the Delta College website, and all the contact information is right there. Now, we also have a lot of stuff that's online anyway. Lots of photos and documents are online for you to look at online already, and that's growing every day. But lots of our documents you have to come in and actually come to the archives to use.
And there's also a section in the library that can be useful for a lot of different projects. Doesn't Delta have a huge collection of government documents, and where are those?
Oh, absolutely, John. Now, not everybody knows that the United States government is actually the largest publisher in the world. So every day our government's cranking out documents. Now, these documents are on all different subjects, and they could be anything from a congressional report all the way to a scientific survey, all right, on all different subjects. Now, it just so happens that Delta College is a federal depository. That means that we have the responsibility for keeping the documents so that they're available for the people. All right? So when you come into Delta College, if you want to use government documents, the bulk of the collection is on these kind of funny, movable bookshelves way in the back by the Ritz Center, and they've got a big crank that you have to turn to move the shelves.
Right.
But lots of our documents are cataloged and they're on the shelf with the books. So you could run into a government document without even trying.
Can those documents be checked out, or do they need to be kept at the library?
All of our government documents can be checked out and taken home.
Okay, but what if, even in the massive amount of books and sources located in the library, I can't find what I need? What should I do? Do I have to go to another library?
No, you don't, John, because of interlibrary loan. Now, interlibrary loan is my favorite thing about the library. Libraries throughout the country cooperate and share their books and materials with each other. So that means that if you are a member of a small public library or a smaller college library like Delta College Library, you don't just have access to our books. You have access to the University of Michigan's books, you have access to Michigan State's books, you have access to books across the country. I personally use interlibrary loan all the time. And I have gotten books from California, I have gotten books from Arizona. These interlibrary loan librarians will go to the ends of the earth to get the book you want. But there's a catch. It doesn't cost any money, it costs time. Because of course the books have to come through the mail. So if you think you might need some information from another library for your school report, make sure you do your research early to give yourself enough time to get those materials here at Delta College.
All the way out to the ends of the earth in the Mojave Wasteland, huh?
Uh-huh.
Man, I wish I had known all about this stuff sooner. It would have made research for my papers go a lot smoother. Hopefully everyone feels more confident going into the library now, knowing about all these resources and all that the library has to offer. Colleen, thank you so much for being on the show again.
Thank you, John. It was a pleasure.
And have a great night. Stay safe. Drive safe.
Oh, I will. Thanks, John.
Now, we went between the shelves to see what students at Delta think the rudest thing people do in the library is.
I think the rudest thing people do in the library is snoring. That is thoroughly distracting, along with keeping the sound on their phone.
Not turning their phone on vibrate or silent, I would think.
Probably this. I'll turn this up.
Snap your gum or, like play with your fingers.
And that's it for the show, everyone. Be sure to check out our other shows as well. Have a great day.